So in this video, we'll be seeing how to build this haptic feedback device and the ambient light system which reacts to the player's health value inside a PC game. For that, we'll be using the ESP protocol, about which we learned in the previous video. And also see how to use different RGB LEDs and different libraries to drive them. Finally, a little bit of Python and OpenCV to get the data from the game. So without any further delay, let's get started. This is one of my long-last, least motivated projects. Initially I started in 2018 as soon as I saw this video by Michael Reeves. It had everything I loved from electronics, coding and getting shot by the gun. But I don't know what happened. I could never finish this project, and sometimes it was so frustrating to decide whether to finish the project or just drop the project. But even with these complicated relationships, after 2 years, finally I dragged myself to face my frustration and finish her. I meant the project, the Python application. Trust me, without this, the whole project wouldn't be possible, because this is the application that reads the data from the game and sends it to the microcontroller. But I wanted it to be elegant and wanted to extend the functionality of what Michael Reeves has done. And that's where my journey of banging my head against the wall started. It was very time intensive and it almost took 6 months to even get it to this stage where it's barely working. Let me show you the current progress so you know what I'm talking about. To run this, you need a configuration file which will contain the location of the health bar or health value in the game and the other information for processing the data. So the first step is to create the configuration file. Since the program is GUI friendly, you can do this for any game. Just as an example, let me show you how to set up this application for the game Valorant. First, take a screenshot of the game when the game is in full screen mode and the health value is clearly visible. And use the shortcut Alt plus Tab to get to the Python application. Then click Edit Config. Now use your cursor to draw a rectangle around the health value. Then click Grab. In this editor window, you can adjust these sliders and check the result until you get the health value on the output section. Once that's done, save the file. Remember, this is just a one-time process which you might have to do for every game. And the next time you can just load the configuration file and click Start. So now let's see. We'll go back to the home page and upload the configuration file. Then hit the Start button. It should read the on-screen data and send it to the hardware through serial communication. If you want to know how to install and run this Python application, you can check out my GitHub README for more details. Sorry if it's boring already. I know most of you are here for electronics, so let's dive into that topic. The major part of this project is controlling RGB LEDs. There are so many variants and so many ways of using them, but in this video, we'll just focus on addressable RGB LEDs. Unlike regular LEDs, these LEDs can be accessed individually through microcontroller with just one data pin. If you observe this LED strip, you can see there is an IC placed next to the LEDs. This is what takes the data from the single data pin and drives the RGB LED. Even these addressable LEDs have many different variants. The one I have here can drive 5 LEDs together, and it's not possible to address them individually. Rather, they address 5 LEDs at once. Even though the strip looks long, while controlling them through a microcontroller, we can consider it as 5 individual LEDs instead of 25 LEDs because the strip contains only 5 driver IC. To test this out, we'll use the following components to build a small circuit. The LED strip that I have works on a 12 volt supply. So the DC jack will take the 12 volt supply and supply it to the LED strips through the terminal block. While the 7805 regulator steps down this voltage to 5 volt and sends it to the node MCU for its operation. Once the soldering is done, we can program the strip and see how it works. For programming these addressable LEDs, there are few libraries that we can use. The popular ones are FastLED and the Adafruit NeoPixel library. We'll see how to use this library one at a time. For example, let's use FastLED for the LED strip and the NeoPixel for the RGB LED ring. We'll open the example sketch of the FastLED. Here are two important points to remember. First, you need to know what kind of LED drivers the strip is using and the number of LEDs in the strip. In my case, it's GS1903 and I have 5 of them. So I entered the value for the IC and the number of LEDs. Then just compile and upload the code. You can see the LEDs are working great. Let's make this wireless now. So it's not necessary for the LED strip to be connected to the PC. This is where we use the ESP protocol to send the data wirelessly. For the code, go to my GitHub repo and download the project Gamer Assist. Then open the folder Arduino code and upload the sketch. Find MAC address. This will give the MAC address that we need for our ESP protocol. After uploading the code, open the serial monitor and note down the MAC address of the node MCU, which we'll be using in the later part of this video. Once you have the MAC address, you can upload the health value ambient sketch, which will control the color of the LED depending on the health value. But before uploading, make sure you change the name of the IC and the number of LEDs according to the LED strip you have. To test if it's working, we just need another node MCU, which can receive the serial data from the Python application and transfer the data through ESP protocol to our ambient light setup. Open the file serial to ESP now. In this file, enter the MAC address of your node MCU, which we got earlier. Then just compile and upload the code. Now we can run the Python application. When you play the game, the LED strip will change its color from green to red depending on the health value of your player inside the game. Let me show you an alternative demonstration for better understanding. I have set up the Python application to read the data from the notepad and send it through serial communication. Then you can see in the terminal what data is sent to the node MCU. This finishes the ambient light part of the project. Now it's time to build the heart of the project. This might look like an arc reactor from Iron Man, but actually this idea was a rip-off from an Indian movie called Ravan. Building this was quite simple. First, solder the RGB LED ring. Then take the appropriate size of the PCB and fit the ring with it. Then follow the circuit diagram and solder the ESP8266, the vibrating motor and the motor driver on the front. Then solder a small boost converter and TP4056 charging circuit on the back of the PCB. Finally, a 3.3 volt regulator for the ESP8266. Initially, I soldered the AMS1117 voltage regulator, but that wasn't working so well because it had a very steep voltage drop when the LEDs and the motors were on. So instead, I used a TPS73033 regulator because it works with a very low voltage drop and supplied enough current to run the ESP8266. This package of the IC was quite messy to solder because of its size, but at the end of the day, with some messy soldering, it got the job done. Similarly, for the battery I used a 500 mAh LiPo battery, but it couldn't power everything at once because it could discharge maximum of only 1 amp. So I replaced 500 mAh battery with a 2C 800 mAh battery so that it can run longer and supply enough power to the RGB ring as well as the motor. Now we can upload the code to the ESP8266. I'm just going to connect the ESP8266 through a FDTI module as we used to do in our previous videos. Once the connection is done, upload the find MAC address code. Then remove the ground wire from the GPIO 0 and restart ESP8266. Now this should output the MAC address on the serial monitor. Once you have the MAC address, we can go ahead and upload the ring code from the GitHub repo. Open the code serial to ESP now and change the MAC address to your haptic feedback device address. And then upload the code to the node MCU to convert the serial data to ESP now. And that's it. You are done. Open the Python application and open the config file for the game. Then just hit enter. You can even try games which have a health bar instead of health value by selecting the option in the editor window during setting up the configuration file. This brings us to the end of the project, and I'm so thankful that I could complete this project without dropping it. So if you'd like to watch similar videos, make sure to subscribe to the channel and smash the like button to beat the YouTube algorithm. If you have any questions or suggestions, I would love to hear from you. Just drop them in the comment section. Until next time, you can watch my other videos from the link in the description or the link on the screen.